Yesterday I had a big, proud, gentle parenting moment, and it made me realize how far I've come, how much I've learned, the reparenting work I've done with myself, and I realized that there is two most common misconceptions about gentle parenting here over on the internet, floating through the moms community. So I just decided to record this chatty video and give you an example of what exactly happened and how I handled it to bust those myths and hopefully get some of you understand that gentle parenting is the way to go. In case you're new here, my name is Karyna and I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and for the last couple of years I've been diving into kids psychology, reading lots of helpful Instagram accounts of therapists, and I will link one in particular that I feel aligns the most with my personal values and beliefs and just resonates with me. So yesterday my daughter, who is 4, did not want to go to sleep, and to give you a little context, every single night of her life she does not fall asleep totally on her own, alone in her room. We did not sleep train her. She still wakes up during the night sometimes, but for the most part when she's healthy she wakes up in the early morning and comes to our room where we have another child who is either in his bed or in our bed by that time. So yesterday, for some strange reason that I can't really figure out, she wanted to sleep in our bed. She never asks for it like right off the bat, and she was crying and having tantrums over it. And that was also strange on that particular day because we've catered to her love languages. We've had that uninterrupted quality time with her, my husband and I both, which doesn't always happen, but for some reason she just had a hard time falling asleep that night. We'll have hard days, right? So what we did is we were just there for her, and that took about 2 hours. And this is where the first misconception comes. People say that they believe, from what they've learned, from what they heard, that gentle parenting is child-led. And maybe it's true to a certain extent, but for what I think gentle parenting is holding the boundaries, healthy boundaries that are important for kids, with love, acceptance and validation of their emotions. So even though we had a hard time getting her to sleep last night, we held the boundary. She did not go to sleep in our bed. We did not follow her lead. We did not let her do just whatever she wants to do. Although, because she was having a hard time, we were there for her. And yes, we did things that we had to do. For example, I had to finish doing dishes and finish picking up toys and stuff, you know, the mom stuff that we do at night. And so we turned off the big lights and she was there, you know, she was crying a lot and she wanted even more attention, more connection. And thankfully that day I did not feel like sleep deprived. There was nothing very stressful going on, so I did have that capacity to give all this to her, to hold her, to talk to her, to convince her, to validate her feelings. And you won't believe how differently she looked at me and how she changed every time I would remind her that I hear you, I see you're having a hard time. And the only explanation I can have for this is that sometimes kids accumulate all of these hard feelings they get from entertaining with the world. Like, she goes to daycare and I'm sure, like, even remembering myself, she goes through so many hard and new emotions and situations which she holds inside the whole day, and maybe she's been holding it for a couple of days now, or maybe some really uncomfortable situation for her happens that day, even though we do ask her everything, you know, but she might not be able to communicate what is it exactly impacted her. So there is two things that I try to remember in the moment. First, as I said, she's having a hard time and she's not trying to give us a hard time. She is having a hard time. Remember this phrase. It helped me so much lately, and just the fact that there is maybe nothing to fix really is something that accumulated in her and she just needed that extra time. And yes, we had different plans for that time, for those 2 hours that we were with her, taking turns, sometimes together, but we did not bribe, we did not use threats, we didn't yell, which sometimes I do lose my cool, but then I repair, and it's been less and less. We all have hard days, like I said, kids do too, and we can't just expect them to be comfortable for us. And I hope very much so that the fact that we can handle all of her emotions and we are there with her, we're not closing the door on her, we are not screaming and disvalidating her emotions and telling her like, why can't you just go to sleep, just sleep, everybody's sleeping already, come on. Supporting her, trying maybe, you know, ask more about what she's feeling and just keep holding that boundary in a loving way. You have to go to sleep in your bed, you will go to sleep in your bed, you're safe, you're with us, we're gonna be right in that room, you're gonna come to us in the morning, and just lots of hugging, lots of calming her down and all the different ways that work for her. I know that this treatment that she gets will help her to come to us with a more tricky emotions and more tricky situations and questions in her life when she is a teenager. So this builds such a strong connection and giving her signals that we're always there for her no matter what. And that's why I took the time, because it's important and I understand that. And I also know that I am not letting her do whatever she wants. I held my boundary and she fell asleep in her bed. The next common misconception I hear a lot lately is that gentle parenting will raise these humans who are not ready for a tough society, or they're gonna be too fragile, snowflakes and all of that. I don't know which kind of gentle parenting lead you've been trying to follow. Let me know in the comments below now, what are those misconceptions that you heard about gentle parenting, or those questions that you have about this system of parenting. I would love to read through those and we could have some healthy conversations in the comments. The way we do gentle parenting is we do use the word no. We hold our boundaries. She can have all the emotions she wants about it, but the rules of this house and our family are the rules. And of course, there are little exceptions here and there, right? But for the most part, I really don't think with what we do here in our household, we're raising snowflake. No, that's not my anticipation. I'm also not trying to raise a people pleaser, because I've ended up being that way and I'm dealing with it right now. And so many other aspects I've been working on, so many words, phrases, and it's just a deep sea to dive in that I hope if you have like a 1-year-old, you should be already looking into it. Like I said, I'm gonna leave that account down below. You can find more accounts maybe that align with your values more than that one, although they are pretty similar, and I honestly just don't understand where people get those misconceptions. They are comparing kids to adults by saying something like, if an adult would do that, they would go to jail, so the kids have to know that and they have to get punishment. No, punishments don't work. We took a punishment-free approach and we're far from knowing everything, but like I said, I felt like sharing this finally because I felt like I've handled the situation so well yesterday. So is my husband, and we've been on that journey together. We've been, you know, learning new things and just seeing that that punishment approach, like timeouts and unrelated consequences, like if you don't stop hitting, you won't get ice cream tonight. This does not relate and does not help them learn the skills that they need to don't hit. And so when my first child was about 2 and we started dealing with all of those new things, we just saw that sending her to her room doesn't work. We're just pushing her even further while she is actually trying to connect with us, because when kids resent you and try to hit you, they're trying to get your attention, and she needs that. She needs a connection, attention, and we just keep sending her to her room and it just doesn't work. And even though we both were raised differently, we were able to see that we need a different approach. And so I can go about this on and on, looks like. By the way, I have memberships on my channel, and if you subscribe to a premium membership, I will be doing a monthly Q&A and catch up with me there, so you can ask any questions and support my channel in that way and get some of those more in-depth and maybe some juicy answers as well. So check out my memberships. You can see a join button under this video and you'll see a 2 option of plans to support me and my channel. Give this video a like and I will see you in this one.